Good morning, everyone, or if it's not morning for you, listening to it a little bit later, that's fine too. For this episode, I want to talk all about action, okay? Action is the way we actually change. It's the way things move in life. We go from thinking about something to maybe having some fear around it to, contemplating whether we're actually going to make this change. Then we go into preparation. And then all of a sudden we actually act, right? So there's different phases of action. But whatever the case may be, every time we listen to podcasts, every time we're reading a book, every time we're gaining information, there's an opportunity for change. There's an opportunity for action. And I don't want this podcast to be a passive one where you're just scrolling through audio episodes and you're like, oh, that's a cool story, or that was a great episode, or that was nice, but I'm not going to change. So every episode is a possibility where you listen to it and you're like, how do I apply this to my life? How do I take that information and add it in and incorporate it into good action that I can take for my life? Positive change, positive action over time translates to a changed life. People who live unordinary or extraordinary lives take action at a level that is just different than the average. So we must be incorporating actual action that is at a level that will ultimately impact us positively. Now, if you're trying to live a mediocre life, if you don't want to live a truly happy life, an excited life, a life where you wake up and you enjoy it, that is extraordinary. That is not average. I don't think most people are waking up in the morning excited about what they do. So if you want to act in a way that's going to give you that excitement, if you want to create the positive flow in your life, the last episode is about that positive snowball effect, you're going to need to take action in a positive manner that's continuous over time. So how do we get that continuity? Well, it comes from things like this, actually. The episodes where you get to plug into positivity in your ears, where you get to listen to good energy over time, but then you need to convert that energy into your own positive action. So, if you're the type of person that wants to live an extraordinary life, if you're the type of person that wants to act in a more positive way, it's going to take positive action over time, and it's going to take you actually acting on what you know you must do. I think I spoke about this earlier, but to me, wisdom is having the knowledge of knowing what you need to do or know what your next step is, but then actually acting on it. I think what's happening in our society is we're all very passive. We're passively consuming information. We're passively watching TV. We're passively reading books. And there's nothing wrong with that stuff, right? We're ingesting information, but information overload without actual conversion into an action that we take over time, an action that's going to progress us, an action that we will try and test. If we don't actually try something, we can't test to see if it's giving us the results that we want. So as good scientists, as people in health professions, we actually have to try to act, to change our behaviors and see how this impacts our life. So in the previous episode, I'd mentioned, for example, some morning routines, some things that I incorporate in order to give myself some positive energy. Well, if you're listening to these episodes, if you're reading books and you think, oh, that's great, but I'm not going to do anything. If you listen to an episode and you're like, well, whatever, it doesn't translate. So my ask from this episode is quite simple. I would love for everyone listening to this, if you're hearing this right now, what is a simple action you can incorporate today that you've always wanted to try, that you've wanted to incorporate to make your life a little bit more positive, and how can you start to implement it? You don't have to do it fast. It can be a simple 1 to 2 minute, 2 to 5 minute, 5 to 10 minute action that you take. But do something that you actually want to do, that you actually would like to see in your life. And how do we start to take action over the long term, starting to build that positive, active momentum, something that becomes consistent over time, something that we're able to incorporate over time. That's my ask of you guys today. I hope you enjoyed those thoughts for today. I hope that provided you a little bit of motivation, momentum, and some energy. If you enjoyed this episode, I ask everyone also to please provide us with a 5-star review on iTunes. It is one of the best ways to support us. You can always find us on our social media channels. It's at Happy Doc Podcast. And if you want to look us up on the website, it's thehappydoc.com. Have an amazing day.